All right, once more into the breach to finish up this installment of Best of, Worst of. If you guys haven't seen it, we've got Best of episode of Eureka right over here. Go take a peek at that. Let us know in the comments below if we're dead wrong on that. If there's a better episode, we might even go take a look at it. Imagine that, a Best of, Worst of Volume 2, like a rebuttal. That'd be crazy. I could do that. But we're going to do Worst of now. And to remind you guys how the show works real quick, we hit up a little site called Episode Ninja on a show that we're interested in. We take a look at what the aggregated ratings are of the best and worst episodes of that series, and then we go watch them and see what we think of them. We haven't seen all the episodes in some of the cases. We're really just trying to see get in the minds of why other people might have thought they were the best and worst. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree with each other, with the results on the sites. It's a total crapshoot. We don't know. So this is going to be the worst episode of Eureka. Reminder, it ran like 5 seasons. This, I think, was season 3-ish, episode 13. So it's like right in that middle point. And maybe people voted this down because this actually was the lowest by a solid 1.5, which is unusual on that site. So I think maybe it was in that mid-season run because, a lot of these kind of shows, writers' rooms are turning over, people are leaving, they're running out of ideas, they need to reset. I don't know. Give me your thoughts on the worst of episode of Eureka. Hit me with a synopsis, though. What was the Syfy story being told here?
So the story being told is that they're making a time capsule for Eureka, the time capsule project. Now, being Eureka, it can't just be a normal time capsule where you show up with items and put on a time capsule and bury it. No, they come up with a high-tech. They bring a device that looks like a snow globe where they look into it, and it connects with your neural pathways, and it takes a memory, your favorite memory of Eureka, and puts it in there. Then they upload it to a giant mainframe, and then it's going to be stored and encrypted away to be opened at a different date. This was Carter's girlfriend's project. Tessa, that's right. It's Tessa's project. She is a character who just showed up for this season to have a meeting with she was looking for a job, and then she got a job at General Dynamic because at the time Allison Blake was the head of GD. So right after the passing of her husband, ex-husband, who was the former head of GD.
This is getting convoluted.
The story's pretty simple. They were getting back together, and then they died. He died on their wedding day. Of their second wedding day.
It was big sad. It actually was big sad, as we find out.
That was a sad episode. I'm surprised that one was voted down just to the first one because of just how sad it was. But everyone thought that was going to be the now Jack and Allison starts, but that didn't happen. Tessa moved in, and now Tessa throws that monkey wrench into that relationship.
Yeah, she totally did.
So,
but as the story goes.
Yeah,
so you didn't tell her. So the story is the memory pucks. Yeah. Of course, they haywire because we have 70,000 movies and shows that tell us why you should never connect your brain to a memory device. We just know this. And on top of that, the lab is scheduled to be closed for a sonic cleaning, which 70,000 shows tell us you don't want to be inside when that happens. They get trapped. But on top of that, because wait, there's more. Allison's pregnant. But on top of that, she's delivering.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there's more. On top of that, everybody's forgetting because the fucking memory device is rotting their brains slowly, retroactively, their short term, and then eating into like what they know.
And it all starts with our favorite button pusher, Fargo. Who went in, and what this episode is pretty much your standard flashback episode where you see the best of clips from all the other ones. Now, Fargo is your number one button pusher. He's usually the catalyst for everything that's going wrong in Eureka. If he's not the catalyst, he's the one who makes it worse.
Yeah, dude, I think they even say, I think they say that verbatim where they're like, it's Fargo. It's always Fargo. Like, I think as everybody's losing their memory, like one of the last things they say is a reference. It's probably this asshole's fault.
Because he wanted to delete all the bad memories about him that people were putting into it, which probably triggered a delete. And because it was linked to your brain, it started deleting the stuff out of your brain because he had to be rushed out of there due to the sonic cleaning.
Right.
But so what it was is that they try to use this memory
it's called the halo.
And it projected the memories, and it was voice activated, and you said, show me this, and it will show you like the memories that are stored about that person. it was the key to undoing the memory loss and making them feel, because people started forgetting who they were. Of course, Jack was not involved because, one, he can't get gizmos to work right, and
Right.
two, he kind of procrastinates on everything that they want him to do at GD, because he's doing his sheriff thing.
Good. Good.
Once again, the common man fits the problems. Now, I did see why this was voted bad, because there was contrivance after contrivance after contrivance. It was very, this guy forgot their memory at the right time because we need to push the plot along. I can see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like with Tess, forgetting when she's going back to shut everything down, forgetting right then and there. And then like Allison forgetting Jack, why they're trapped in Tess's lab on level 5. Now, level 5 is where they keep all their super top secret projects. You learn that throughout the season. The main one, like in episode 1, was the entity type thing, which no one knew what it was.
Smoke monster.
No, it wasn't a smoke monster. It was I just
reminded we were talking about Locke in our Rocketeer thing. It just popped in my head.
It was a energy meteor type thing, and then it kind of like disappeared and absorbed into one of the inhabitants of Eureka.
Now I'm going to have the same problem I had. Now I'm not going to hijack your segment, but I just want to say now I'm going to have the same problem I had with like Warehouse 13, where like you tell me 30 seconds about an episode. I'm like, that sounds like a pretty nifty little self-contained
that's a whole season
sci-fi episode. That's what I'll do. That's even better.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because they're going to do all these little weird things along the way to get there to solving it. You know?
Yeah, what Eureka is your problem of the week type show, but it has an underlining story that goes through the whole season, a season arc as well.
Proper.
So it's not just a Star Trek episode where it's the monster of the week. And we're talking about original series. The original series was pretty much monster of the week. There wasn't really a huge underlining season-long arc through the
TNG and DS9 worked a lot of that same way too. I mean, they introduced long-range threats like the Borg here, or they did the stuff with lore, and then DS9 had stuff with like the Delta Quadrant with like the Dominion War and stuff like that. But a lot of the episodes in between were like, we got stuck on the holodeck again. Ruh-roh. You know what I mean? Like they did.
We need dilithium crystals, Captain.
Right. The Romulans are, they sent a spy. Like there's plenty of that. But dude, I gotta say, I was thinking about the plot contrivance thing last night, because much like I just said on our best of, I mean, I don't really see, is this really the worst episode of this show? Because if this is categorically the worst episode based on our research on Episode Ninja, this must be a really good show. Because honestly, beyond the contrivances of getting the memory loss thing to work in a goofy kind of way on a show that's goofy like Eureka, I got to give it a pass for that, because it's not a serious dramatic piece. Like it is a ticking clock working backwards against people. So of course, I finally got to King Z's office. He's going to hit the password, but now he doesn't remember the password. But if I got there 10 minutes ago, he would have known. Like they do that like you said, 3 times with 3 characters. Like, who's the hot security chief? Joe. They like, she ordered a soup, and then Carter's daughter, who didn't use the memory device yet because she also procrastinated, had a run-in with her like 3 times about, dude, you ordered the soup, take the effing soup, here's the soup. And then of course the other doctor from the lab was there, and he didn't answer his PDA because he already forgot it was his, and he could have shut the whole thing down right away. And then it spirals back until it hits Allison, and then Tessa even later. But I'm like, it's Eureka. Are they really knocking points for contrivances? Like, I mean, to be fair, maybe we should, because we destroyed Secret Invasion and the Acolyte for contrivances. But like the whole mechanism of this plot needed that to work. So I feel like I have to suspend that disbelief. When we shit on the Acolyte for contrivances, it's fire in space, fire burning stone. You know what I mean? You could have just written that smarter. This whole thing is about memory loss. How else can you do it? It's like time travel. It's wonky.
And of course, it's going to hit different people at different times based on when they use the device as well.
And they show us that because they were talking about, I'll do it later. Oh, I already did this. I heard that what's his name had already gone first. Like Fargo hadn't gone. Or no, he did go first. That's why he was the first one to not be able to help. So yeah, again, this was the worst episode on the ranking list. Like I said, by like a solid 1.5, 2 points. And most of these shows on those lists they're separated by not a lot of votes. So I feel like that bodes well for a watch of the whole show if this was the worst thing they could do. Because I remember when we did the Sliders watch, the worst of episodes of Sliders was an effing dumpster fire compared to the best episode of that, which may also have been the series. Oh no, it was the season 1. It wasn't a series finale. So yeah,
No,
I don't see why this is the worst stuff for me.
Yeah, our first 2 installments, it wasn't the first or last episode that was considered the best.
Right.
And it's the last 2 that's had the last episode as the best. And then some weird episode in the middle. I think it was actually the 3rd episode was the worst in Warehouse 13. And this one, it was season 3. So, and you're right. This show is a good show. It's a good, fun show that is well written. It has ups and downs. Like you do have some dramatic points. It's not just all fun and games. There are bigger stories that are being told in this, but it's also just a lot of fun with like techie type stuff, like building an anti-gravity machine in your garage.
That was awesome. I did like watching that. And again, I'm glad you touched on that, because one of the things I like most about good shows, especially good sci-fi shows, is when they wrap up like a lesson within the sci-fi. Like that character's name is Henry. He built that in his garage and it broke. It tore his roof off, but he celebrated that he still got it somewhat working. And he used that to tell Carter's daughter, who felt out of place, like she hadn't found her genius role yet or her job. And he's like, no, sometimes you got to make mistakes to put you on the path to getting it right. You have to do that. So like they blend that in without being preachy. It's not hammering you over the head. It's not telling you you're a bad person if you didn't see that up front right away. So I do like stuff like that in my sci-fi. And I also, like you said, the best shows that can hit you the hardest with the serious stuff are the shows that are irreverent in the first place. And I'm thinking of things like Scrubs, right? Yeah. On this show, when they're goofy all the time, but they actually like subtly work character work under that kind of main current, like between Joe and Zane or between Allison and Carter. Like that one flashback where Carter had to be the one to tell Allison that her husband was dead. Dude, I don't know these characters from Adam, like Choke. It was a miniature Choke for like 3 seconds. I'm like, oh, dude, like that actually sucks. I know exactly what they're doing here. And I, again, don't know him from Adam, but they sold me in an hour of TV.
Every character really grows. There's only a few who really don't grow. Like Zane, we talked about Zane in the best of. Zane went from a criminal who didn't like anything to one of the top scientists at GD, because he was one of those brains. The two that pretty much stayed the same, or the 3 that really stayed the same and didn't grow.
Andy.
Well, Andy's an android, and he was kind of just there.
But Data grows. Just saying.
But it is Jack. Jack is kind of the same guy all the way through.
Flat arc.
And Vincent is pretty much a flat arc, but he's also he's in every episode ish. He's in 67 of the 77, but he's like the guy who feeds you. It's like what's his name from the Love Boat.
Oh, dude. No.
Oh, go ahead.
Isaac. No. Dude, I nailed it. I was gonna do something I haven't done in a while. I was gonna do my requisite Dresden Files reference. I'm gonna do it. Joe Carter in this is like Harry Dresden inverse. He's on the flat arc. Like he's gonna learn a little bit here and there to get through a situation, but he's always gonna be the glue. Like he'll be the one to sort out, even if he's outside his power level, how to save the day, and he'll take the risk for it too. And then I'll even Vincent that one too. Vincent's basically what's his Mac from the bar. He just feeds you.
Yeah,
that's it. That's what he's there for. He's not on an arc. He doesn't need to grow. You know what I mean? He may have a questionable, sketchy background. Even I don't know Vincent that well yet.
No, he's a doctorate.
That he does. He has a doctorate in molecular gastronomy.
Yep.
He said it in the episode, and I remembered. Woo! All right. Because that was even a joke. Because it was about Alice. It was about Carter's daughter being like, oh, I haven't figured it out yet. I'm not a doctor. And then somebody says, oh, don't worry about it. Vincent doesn't have a doctorate. And he's like, actually, I do have a PhD in molecular gastronomy. And then the daughter's like, damn it, I am the only one. It was like Wallowitz on Big Bang Theory not having a doctorate. It was the same gag.
Well, she was still in high school. This was like her senior year of high school that she was going through. And she felt out of place as a normie among the kids of geniuses. Right. And the kids were geniuses.
And then she's inspired to be a medical doctor because she assists in the delivery of Allison's baby.
Yeah. You know what I mean? The father is the ex-husband who died.
And is also her future sister sister-in-law, brother-in-law, sister.
Yeah,
those
future
in-law
sister.
things are weird.
No, wouldn't be sister-in-law. It'd be daughter.
They're siblings. They'd be half sibling.
Oh, that
At
she
least half
delivered.
sibling, right?
Yeah,
Right.
half sibling.
Mm-hmm. But then if they get married, though, if Jack marries Allison, then she becomes a daughter-in-law. Oh, she just becomes a daughter-in-law. It's still a half sibling, not a sibling. Okay, yeah, dude, I can't do that that stuff. Always throws me for a loop in my head. But dude, I think I've said my piece on Worst of Eureka. I'm gonna do a winter will shrug. I mean, it seemed if the story itself, standalone sci-fi memory gag amnesia plotline. You've seen it on shows like Star Trek, Next Generation, and other sci-fi shows. Contrivances to me don't bother me because in that kind of goodness they have to happen. So I'm gonna give it a pass on that. Kingsley, your final word. Is this really the worst episode? Really?
I think why it got voted down is because of the contrivances mixed in with the flashbacks.
You needed both components, you think, to drop it down?
Yeah, that really dropped it down. If they did it with just the memory loss, would have been fine. But using the flashbacks to re-up their memory to show the fans everything that they the last two seasons, because it's only the season.
Yeah.
So, but it was also like when they did 22 episodes of a show too. So
I noticed that because I was shocked that the final season got kind of truncated. I think season 5.
It was one of those shows
10.
that they were like, "Are we going to renew it?" They're like, "Okay, let's just wrap it up. Let's do 10 episodes to wrap it up."
But I'm betting a lot of people like that because then you see characters get the closure. They get their will, they won't.
You get to say goodbye.
You get and as the audience, you get to say goodbye, which is the most important part. Makes sense.
Just to let you know, do you know what the most watched episodic TV show finale ever watched was?
Watch me tee this one up and then knock Kingsley's socks off. MASH.
What's the name of the episode?
Goodbye, someone.
Farewell, goodbye, and amen.
Farewell. Damn it! I knew something was in there with good, but I knew it was MASH. Anyway.
Yep, it was.
Pretty sure I only know that because you told me that before.
I probably
while we did best of worst stuff, probably.
And that's because the show went on for 10 years. The war only lasted for 3. But you grow with these characters. It's like when you're reading a good book series and you read that last line of the last book of that series and there's no more with these characters. You have that type of loss, like you lost a friend.
Oh, dude, yeah. When Dresden Files is finally done, there are definitely shows like that, and it's always the ones that you stick around with, that you invest in, and they count for something in your head.
But I will agree with you, since this was considered the worst one, it does bode well for the season. I'm always a fan. I hope this gets you to go watch it, and then you to become a fan of one of my favorite shows. That's a good endorsement right there. That's a slapping good endorsement. All right, that's all we got on Eureka, guys. We got a best of and a worst of. Go check them out. Let us know in the comments in each video, please. If you like this style of content with us reviewing stuff that's not directly in our wheelhouse with the long form stuff, let us know. We'll take everything into consideration, and I leave it to King Z for the thoughtful goodbye. Look over there.